seen numbers come through out of Phumelela for the full year, and full year HEPS down 16%. But what's interesting is that you've maintained your divvy, 43 cents dividend paid at the end of the year. It's been done. You said you would hope that it would be repeated. Have you dipped into your reserves to achieve this kind of maintenance of that divvy?
Alishia, no. We've reduced our cover, but during the year we generated 163 million of cash from operating activities. So no, we're not declaring a dividend out of accumulated reserves, but we've reduced our cover substantially. And we did so specifically because we generated so much cash, and the board and I have confidence in the business model going forward, and we think that our stakeholders, given the amount of cash that we have on hand, deserve that their dividend be maintained.
Well, Rian, good morning. It's Stephen speaking. You say in the commentary that the trading conditions remained challenging in the second half of the year. And of course, we did have the Soccer World Cup coming right at the end of that. And I should imagine competition for the gaming rand must have been pretty stiff, because we also saw a number of online betting agencies setting up shop in South Africa and vying for that gaming rand. Do you see this tough competition being maintained going forward?
No, not necessarily. And by the way, our subsidiary, our fixed odds subsidiary Betting World, did really well out of the World Cup. We particularly felt it tough with the tote betting, where we do compete for the leisure rand, and where, although we have Soccer 6, the betting was not as prevalent as it was on fixed odds. We saw the international players come in. They're still there, but we're happy to compete.
Well, looking at the competitive landscape, I mean, just what kind of market share do you hold? Because we know that your strongest competitor is a Gold Circle. Moving beyond that, I mean, are you looking at your other gaming operators, the likes of your casinos, as strong competitors in the current playing environment?
Well, just to correct it, Gold Circle is both a competitor as well as a partner. We do partner with them on numerous issues and cooperate, in particular in the international sphere and on our media assets such as Teletrack. So I would consider our major competitors really other forms of betting and gambling, which would be the National Lottery, and then all other forms of gambling in the form of casinos and poker and bingo, etc.
Rian, good morning. It's Greg. I wanted to ask you, 6 months ago you mentioned that you were quite optimistic about how things were going with Italy. How are things going there? Are you seeing an increase?
Yes, absolutely. Italy is taking our racing now by about 20 days a month. And their betting on South African racing compares favourably with betting on other racing. We come to them particularly in the time that we're entering now, the European winter. We come to them at a time when there's little other competitive flat thoroughbred racing available. So we're very optimistic about it.
Internationally, Rian, I mean, the plan was to have 50% of your profits derived from international operations. How on target are you to meeting that goal?
Well, Alishia, we're at 27% at the moment, and that has been contesting a rand that was on average by about 17% stronger than it was in the same period last year. So we would have been very much on course. I'm still long-term, although in the short term we believe that the rand will be strong. Long-term, we believe that the rand would find its correct level, bearing in mind the differing inflation rates. So we're still targeting our original goal.
Rian, it's Greg again. Could I ask you, you cooperate well with Gold Circle, and I was wondering, in the future, do you see that cooperation possibly leading to something closer, maybe even a merger?
Well, my board and I are in favour of exploring a merger with Gold Circle, to the extent that it makes sense to their stakeholders and ours. We've had numerous discussions in the past number of years, even well before I joined Phumelela. And suffice it to say that whatever makes sense to their stakeholders and our stakeholders, whether it's a merger or closer cooperation on any particular front, we would be in favour of it.
And finally, I just wanted to ask you, I see you've recently introduced an all-to-come bet. Are you expecting that to increase turnover significantly?
Well, we launched it on Friday, and judging by what happened on Friday and over the weekend, we're quite optimistic. It really is a useful bet for a large number of our customers. And if I can illustrate to you, our typical punter who comes in over lunchtime and doesn't want to play a pick six, but merely wants to play a couple of win or place bets, would have to stay in our outlet in order to be able to take his winnings onto a future bet. What the all-to-come bet does give him or her is the ability to carry forward his winnings onto a next and a following bet. So if he fancies a horse to win in race 3 and another horse to run a place in race 5 and another horse to win in race 8, he can place his bet and go back to work. And his bets, if they are winning, will be carried forward. So from a convenience point of view, we think it will be very well received by our punters.
Rian, 45 million rand spent on the turpentine elimination project, and I should imagine this is a good investment for night racing going forward. How do you see that taking off?
Well, night racing is proving very popular, and we've instituted at the moment, together with Gold Circle, we are targeting to race on Thursday evenings. Whenever it's our season, it'll be turpentine, and whenever it's their season, it'll be at gravel. But it's been well received, and we're going to take it from strength to strength.
Do you expect it to have a significant impact on betting turnover specifically? Because we know that half of South Africa's 10 racehorses will have their turnover reduced by 8% pretty soon. Are you expecting to follow suit, or do you see these new endeavours and investments taking you out of that fray?
Well, we're working hard. We do carry a responsibility to fund the sport, at least in part. And we take that responsibility very seriously, and we will introduce whatever measures we can to up our turnovers and our profits, so as to be able to not only serve our shareholders, which is our primary responsibility, but also to serve the interests of the sport, to have the sport healthy.
Greg, what's your view of Phumelela as a gamble, perhaps?
Well, look, it's done well for investors from when it first listed, and they've paid out nice dividends, and I like the fact that the dividend has been maintained. Obviously, I think also which might benefit them going forward is that other forms of online betting is now illegal, but it doesn't affect them. You can still place horse racing bets online. So I like the stock going forward. The big problem with the stock is the liquidity. You know, it's difficult to buy big parcels of the stock.
Just to end off with, Rian, I mean, the industry is raking in 20 to 30 million rand from the corporate marketing spend per annum, this despite it being the 4th largest sport in the country. I mean, how are you repositioning the sport as a sport and not just a product that we all want to bet on?
Absolutely, and it's not a one-year project. For too many years it's been seen as an industry predominantly to facilitate betting, and we're working very hard with some good success. Obviously it was difficult to compete for the sponsorship and marketing rand in the middle of the World Cup because pretty much corporate budgets were spent last year on all things in and around the World Cup. But going forward on a 3 to 5 year view, we believe that we can achieve significant additional revenue from the corporate spend.
Rian, just finally, prospects for the current financial year. Obviously we had a couple of fannies in last year. The rand, you said, is expected to remain strong, so that's obviously going to weigh on international earnings. But of course now Betting World has been incorporated. It's now a subsidiary of Phumelela. What would you expect this year?
Well, we are going to target growth, and we have quite a few exciting things happening. Our international trading is going really well. But we need to contend with a rand that's already 10% stronger than the average rand last year. So we're cautiously optimistic. We generate strong cash. We're launching new bets. Soccer 6 is going well. Betting World is going well. And we have high hopes for the all-to-come bet. And the international business is moving along quite nicely.